I need to get a little timer like
Mom,
that.
it's covering the camera.
Do you want to use mine?
Pointing that way.
Okay, everybody listen, so we have lots of time. You may shut that, yes, that'd be great. Okay, first of all, I just want to say hello. Everybody take a deep breath. Ooh, I needed that for myself. We have all had busy weeks, I'm sure. So, I'm apologizing now because I did not have the chance to really prep very well this week, so we're just gonna go with it. This is also a subject that I don't feel quite as familiar with, so I'm just gonna voice that now, so we're just all gonna have some grace and learn together, okay? Also, I'm making videos, which I do not like, but we're gonna just forget that that's there. Okay, so I'm gonna start us off in prayer. Everybody bow your heads. Jesus, we come to you. We thank you that you are in this place with us, that you are helping us to learn. You're giving us the mind of Christ. Be with me, give me the right words to explain things clearly and correctly. God, we ask that you are, you just saturate each one of these kids' brains, their minds, help them to stay focused, help us to have fun. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Okay, so you've got your expo marker, you got your bingo card. As you can see, these are different types of verbs and nouns. I'm gonna give you maybe a definition or a example, and you're gonna mark it off. Now, there are multiple words that could go for several different topics. For instance, a common noun may also be a collective. Who knows? So you guys get to choose which one you want to use for it.
Sorry, I'm interrupting. Do you happen to know how many extra you have, or if you have extra?
Today I have a ton of extra.
I know, but like with your people here, you would have.
I don't think I have very many extra.
And you would have merits.
Yeah, 1, 2, oh.
Okay, so this would be noun.
Miss
No,
Brown.
Logan.
Miss Brown.
Hold on,
I have like 4 out.
I have one in my binder. They can use mine.
one of these?
I have one of these in my binder, but it's like a smaller
Because
version.
they got an extra student sibling. So if for some reason you're short, let me know and I'll make it.
I
Okay.
have one in my
All
binder.
right.
No, that's
We're gonna start out easy. This names a person, place, thing, activity, or idea. If you have that definition, mark it off on your card. Just put an X. Okay, it names a person, place, thing, activity, or idea on your bingo card. Find that answer. Okay, mark it off. Put an X. Okay. This, everybody got that one? This is a proper noun. Proper nouns start with a, say it out loud, capital.
Capital letter.
That's right, capital letter. Mark that off if you see a proper noun.
All of them?
Nope, just one at a time. And like I said, the multiple answers may be correct. So you all should have 2 X's. Everybody should have 2 X's. They're just in different spots from each other. So everybody should have 2 X's. This is a common noun. Again, there may be a couple choices on this. A common noun. It's not capitalized. It's just a common noun. I'll give you a little hint. Could be dog. Could be tree.
Could it be crow?
No, not yet.
That's crowd.
We'll get that in just a minute. Okay, this is an abstract noun. Abstract. We cannot use our 5 senses to describe this. It's an abstract noun.
No.
Okay. Let's see. This is. This is a collective noun. Remember what we talked about last week? Collective, a group of something.
No.
Wait, the collective noun was does everyone have the collective?
Yeah, it's gaggle.
No.
Is what you should have.
Oh, I will.
Okay, this is a compound noun. Compound, 2 words put together that makes another word. Okay, I'm going to get a little harder. We're going to go into verbs. This asserts an action, shows a state of being, links 2 words together, or helps another.
Verb.
Gives the answer away. Verb. Anybody getting close? Okay.
All I need is one more.
Everybody just
Wait,
This is a past tense verb. Past tense.
Which?
Past tense.
Past tense. What do past tense end with?
ED.
ED. Did you get one?
Yeah, I got tree, dance, gaggle, flow.
Good job. Good job. Okay, we'll keep going one more time. Or keep going until we have a couple other winners. A few more minutes. This is a present. Let's see. Present tense. Not present participle, but a present tense.
Is it?
Ends in ES or sometimes it's just the verb.
Should I say that?
Yeah, you can still work. Okay.
What is this one?
I'm gonna give it to you. Dance/dances is that answer. That's present tense.
Got one.
Dance. You bingo?
The noun, White House, dance, dances, and verb.
Good job. Nice. Okay, keep going until a couple other people win. All right, one more. Common noun. Another common noun. Lowercase. Does not
Got
be.
another one.
Bingo.
Got one.
Y'all bingo too?
Bingo.
Okay, all right. We're waiting on two more. You bingo too? You did too? Okay, we need one more. We're gonna have you bingo here. Let's do another proper noun. Did you need a proper noun? Capitalized proper noun. There should be one more on there. It's either Ruby or White House are two proper nouns that we have listed. Did that get you a bingo?
Bingo.
Another bingo.
Okay, tell me what you need to bingo. But just don't tell me the answer. Describe it to me. What's your word? Don't tell me what it is. But let me see. Oh, okay. Let's see. Compound. What's a compound noun? Birdhouse. Good job. So he bingo too. Okay, everybody you want to erase your boards. We'll use these maybe again. So erase your boards, and I'm gonna pass a little baggie around that has some prizes for everybody.
I got 2 bingos.
So you guys
You only
can
get one prize.
You can pick the prize.
I got 2 bingos.
Girls or boys, if you choose these smelly pins, you can have 2. Okay.
Smelly pens?
They're like little markers, spelling markers. Okay.
Oh, so
We
Sam.
have a ton to go over today, so we are going to just start right at it. Just push everything kind of aside and we'll get going here. Okay, we've talked about verbs. We've talked about nouns. What else? Oh, I'm not on the
I
camera.
think pronouns.
Today is pronouns. Today is pronouns, and this is what I say is I'm the least comfortable with because they get a little bit tricky and a little confusing. So I need everybody to get out your chart F. Chart F.
Chart F. Chart F.
Okay, so I'm going to teach you a little hand motions and songs. And again, parents, I will send out a video with all of this information, and so you can work on it at home. But a pronoun, we give you the definition. A pronoun replaces a noun in order to avoid repetition. Okay, so these are the hand motions. A pronoun replaces a noun in order to avoid repetition. A pronoun replaces a noun in order to avoid repetition. A pronoun replaces a noun in order to avoid repetition. Okay, so you guys will learn that this week. That is at the very top of your chart. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go just breaking this chart down one by one and kind of explaining it, okay? So this is the chart you work on this week, and I'll put that in the email. But you want to try to learn as much as this is possible. First years, you may want to take like half the chart and then add a little bit each week. Okay, so a pronoun replaces a noun in order to avoid repetition. Why is that important? Let's say I was telling you a story and I said, Lily went to the store, Lily bought a lollipop, Lily really, really wanted a Coke, Lily went back home. That's a lot of Lilies, isn't it? So we have to have pronouns to replace the noun so that it does not sound repetitive and over and over and over. So I'd say, Lily went to the store, she bought a lollipop, she really wanted a Coke, and her mom took her home. Something like that. So it's something where you're not saying the same name over and over. So the noun that you are replacing, did not know this, is called the antecedent. Okay? So the noun, which would be Lily, this proper noun that I used, Lily would be the antecedent. So we're replacing, the pronoun replaces the noun known as the antecedent. Okay, so we're going to go just line by line or column by column to describe all these pronouns. No, we'll put that away for now, Bubba. Okay, so we have first got, if you look in your chart, we'll see that they're broken down into different attributes, just like we've learned with the verbs and the nouns. You know that they all have attributes. You're going to notice that some of them are similar, okay? So we've got number, person, and gender. We've got the number is singular and plural, just like you've always known. Person, again, is first, second, and third, like you've known. And then gender is masculine, feminine, and neuter. So we'll kind of talk about that here in just a minute. But that's kind of the attributes of a pronoun. Now we're going to go across the top. So now these are, if you'll notice, your big box up at the very top, it says personal. So we're going to go over all the personal pronouns. They're broken into different categories. So the first personal pronoun, say that 5 times fast, is the nominative pronoun. Okay, so nominative or sometimes subjective. In our foundations work, they talk about it being nominative. So I'm going to say that so we remember. Yes?
We're missing a page.
Are you? You don't have the chart? F?
We got chart F. Pronoun, this one.
Oh, it's blank. You don't have your master's chart? Does somebody have an extra master's chart you can borrow for now? Those are the blank ones to work on at home. Then there's some master charts that you'll have that he'll want to study from. So that you can borrow. I'm sure it's in your packet. It's just probably somewhere buried in all your stuff.
It's really hard to find.
They are very difficult to find. I'm sorry about that. I think it's in the either solutions. I think it's in the solutions guide. But you probably
No idea.
separated it. I know. Okay, so the first one is nominative, and everybody, when I hear nominative, I think na 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 na. You know, when you like making fun of somebody, na 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 na. So that's how we're gonna remember it. We're gonna say nominative pronouns, nominative pronouns. Okay, so we gotta talk like a baby. Here we go. We're gonna say I, you, he, she, it, we, you, they. Nominative pronouns, nominative pronouns. I, you, he, she, it, we, you, they. Okay? So that's nominative. Now, the cool thing about the nominative, it's pretty easy. It's the subject in the story, right? It's the subject in the sentence. It is the, they are used as subject or predicate nouns, which we'll discuss later. And if you look at the very bottom, a good test is I will go, or I dance, you dance, he, she, it dance, we dance, you dance, they dance. You'll notice the plural you is actually you all. In Texas we say y'all. So that's why we have 2 yous, but it's actually a plural you all. Okay, so when we're talking about nominative, we're talking about the subject pronoun. We basically have the subject followed by a verb. I dance, you dance, he, she, it dances. All right, we're going to move to objective. When I think of objective, I think of Cookie Monster. Okay, that's going to help me remember what starts with. The reason is, 1, the O kind of makes me think of a cookie, objective. And then what's the first person singular? It's me. How does Cookie Monster ask for a cookie?
Me, cookie.
Me want cookie. me want cookie, right? Okay, so we're gonna say those in Cookie Monster's voice. And so it's me, you, he, her, it, him, her, it, us, you, them. Okay, so when you're practicing at home, think of Cookie Monster. It's me, you, him, her, it, us, you, them. Okay, so the test here is Tom saw me. Tom saw you. Tom saw him, her, its. Tom saw ours. Tom saw your. Tom saw us. Tom saw you. Tom saw them. So you can use the test and make sure it makes sense in the objective. Also, the objective, if you'll notice the very top, it's also used as an object of a preposition. So when we're using a pronoun in the objective column, the objective uses, it's going to be used as a direct object, object of a preposition, an object or an indirect object, and the OCN. Help me remember what the OCN is. Object complement noun. So see, do you hear that? You hear the object in all of those? That's why it's being used as an object, objective case. Okay? So let's, for instance, give me a preposition. We've just learned some today from class. Give me one.
What's a preposition?
We'll just do about, right? Because that's the first one. About. So you can use it about me, about you, about him, her, it, about us, about you, about them. So that's how you use it in an object of a preposition. Okay? So, wanted you to point out. So nominative, you're using it as a subject with a verb. Objective, you're using it, you can use it as a direct object, object of a preposition, indirect object. We'll get a little further down the road, you'll understand what all those mean. Okay, the next one, we are going to, if you'll notice, it's got a little sub-column called possessive. And we've got two different possessive ones. Okay, so we're breaking those down. There's possessive pronoun, then there's possessive pronoun adjective. Okay, so let's talk about the possessive pronoun first. And this one, I think of, what's the first one in that column for possessive pronoun? Mine. Yes. Nemo. Mine. So I think of those fish or those seagulls trying to get the fish. Mine. So we're gonna think of it like that. So the possessive pronouns are mine, yours, his, her, its, ours, yours, theirs. Okay, so this is possessive, saying that it's mine. So the test here is the car is mine, or the book is mine. The house is yours. The table is his. The bookshelf is ours. No, that's not right.
Hers.
Theirs. Oh, it is ours. Yes, ours is the collective, so plural. So you use the test. The car is mine. That's possessive pronoun. Okay, so not to get confused with the possessive pronoun adjective, okay? The difference in this, you hear the word adjective. We know what an adjective is. Describes a noun, right? Person, place, thing, or activity or idea, a noun, okay? It describes it. So on this one, we're saying it's, the test is, that is my car. So the pronoun adjective comes before a noun to describe it, okay? So see the difference? We have the car is mine, just that is a possessive pronoun by itself. The possessive pronoun adjective, that car, that is my car. Whose car? My car. So that's where we get the adjective. So we'll say the pronouns, the possessive pronoun adjectives together. My, your, his, her, its, our, your, their. Okay? It's a little bit different than the pronouns, so you'll have to kind of keep those straight. But all this is just a matter of just repeating these over and over to yourself and kind of visualizing this chart. And the more you do it, the repetition, the easier it will get. I will tell you, this is why I said these are hard for me, because I get them all jumbled in my mind. Okay, so we've got the nominative pronouns, Okay, we've got those. We've got objective, Cookie Monster, me. We just gotta know, me want cookie, me. All right, and then my pronoun, or the possessive pronoun is mine. And we are just saying that the car is mine. Or we've got the pronoun adjective, that is my car. Okay, moving on to reflexive. What does reflexive mean? When you think of the word reflexive, what's the first thing that comes to your head? Reflect.
Not unique.
A kick, a reaction, I think of a mirror, right? Reflection, reflect. Okay, so we've got a mirror, and if you'll notice, all of the reflexive are ending in self. You see that? So anytime it's a reflexive pronoun, it's going to end in self or selves. Okay, so let's go over these. Myself, yourself, himself, herself, itself, ourselves, yourselves, themselves. Okay? So Those are all self. So when we see them in a sentence, you'll be able to pick those out pretty easy. You'll know, oh, that's a reflexive pronoun. Okay. All right, now, so those are all the main personal pronouns. You'll notice there's 5 of them. Okay, then there's an other section. So let's go over the other. On this one, everybody needs to stand up. I've got a little song to teach you on this one. It's demonstrative pronouns. Demonstrative pronouns. So, this, that, these and those, these and those, these and those, this, that, these and those. This is the demonstrative pronouns, or these are the demonstrative pronouns. Okay, so it's the head and shoulders. Here we go. This, that, these and those, these and those, these and those, this, that, these and those. These are the demonstrative pronouns. Okay?
I can't.
You get a little exercise there and stretch. Okay, so demonstrative pronouns, this, that, these, and those. Pretty easy, just memorize those. Ha! I used one. Okay, next is interrogative. We know what interrogative is, right? Because we've learned the purposes. What does the interrogative do? It asks a question, right? It's asking a question. So in this case, it's who, whom, whose, which, what. So my little song for that is whom, whose, who, which, what, who, whom, whose, which, what? Okay, so we just kind of chant it. Who, whom, whose, which, what, who, whom, whose, which, what, right? So it's kind of like a little rap. You kind of get it down. Makes a little catchy sound. Okay, so these refer to a non-specific, these are the ones that are, an interrogative pronoun represents something that is unknown and is used in a question. So we're asking the questions who, whom, whose, which, and what. Those are the interrogative pronouns. We're going to use those when we are changing our sentences from declarative. When we want to change it to interrogative, you're going to be using some of these pronouns. That's why you need to have them memorized. Okay, next is the indefinite. And this is fun. So I'm going to do it, and then you guys can stand up and do it with me. Okay, so indefinite pronoun refers to a non-specific person, place, thing, activity, or idea. There are tons of them. So we're going to learn a few of them, but I think there's even more than this list represents. There's a ton of ways to learn this song, and you've probably learned it in foundations at some point or another. On the video that I send you, she sings it to Frosty the Snowman. So there's a ton of different ways to sing it. So it's up to you if you want to learn it a different way. But this is the way that we've learned it in the past. So it's the chicken dance. So all, another, any, anybody, anyone, anything, both, each, either. Everybody, everyone, everything, few, many, more, most, neither. Nobody, none, one, other, several, some, somebody, someone, such. Those all get a little like put together. Okay, so everybody stand up. Someone such.
You can do it.
Everybody stand up, and you don't have to know it, just dance with me. But just the more repetition and we hear it, the more you get it. All, another, any, anybody, anyone, anything, both, each, either. Everybody, everyone, everything, few, many, more, most, neither. Nobody, none, one, other, several, some, somebody, someone, such. Okay, so we gave it our best effort. But anyway, just something, if you guys come up with another song or there's one that you've learned in the past, feel free to use that. You don't have to use the one I gave you. But like I said, the video that I send you, she does a Frosty that's good too. So basically you want to get down at least as many as you can because we want to be able to identify the indefinite pronouns in a sentence. Okay, so let's see what some of these on the F. I'm going to read you a few sentences. Okay, so some restaurants sell French fries. Some. There's our indefinite pronoun. Everybody clapped their hands. Everybody is the indefinite pronoun. Please take one. That's one is the indefinite pronoun. Both dogs tried to jump the fence. Both. That's an indefinite pronoun. So there's a few examples there. Okay. Last but not least, we have relative. relative pronouns. So, I don't really have much a cute song with this one, but a relative pronoun introduces, and everybody says this word differently. I say adjectival. It could be adjunctival clause. If you've never heard that word, we will just roll with what I say. Adjectival subordinating clause. We will discuss what that is. Basically, it's a clause that describes a noun, okay? So, when we're doing our who, which clauses later, the who, whatever they did, that's the adjectival clause because it's describing a person, okay? A which is, would be an adjectival clause. Okay, so it says a relative pronoun introduces an adjectival subordinating clause and relates the word it modifies. So we've got who, whom, whose. Ooh, which ones do those look like? Those look similar to the interrogative ones, right? But we're changing it up a little bit. Who, whom, whose, whoever, whomever, that, which, what, whatever. I like the last one. Whatever. Who, whom, whose, whoever, whomever, that, which, what, whatever. Right? Okay. So we went through that chart somewhat. You kind of can it's just a matter of practicing, chanting them, singing them, figuring out what works for you. But we need to work on memorizing this chart. You can copy it by hand. You can say it verbally, out loud. Your mom or dad could quiz you on it. However you want to do that this week. We're going to work on that chart. Okay, so let's go a little bit over the attributes. We've got singular and plural. Who remembers what singular is? Just one, right? One by itself. What's plural? More than one, right? Two or more. Okay, so in this case, a noun or a pronoun that names one person, place, thing, or activity, such as dog, girl, restaurant. Those are nouns that are singular. Pronouns, I guess in this case it would be he, she, it, would be all singular pronouns. A plural pronoun names more than one person, place, thing, activity, or idea. Dogs, girls, restaurants. Or in this case it would be us, they, them. Those are all plural pronouns. Okay, so I didn't go over this last week, but I'm going to go and touch on it just a little bit. It can get a little confusing. When we are making a noun plural, okay? So I have a dog, but let's say I see a pack of dogs. How do I make that plural?
An S.
Add an S, right? So it's a noun, and I have made it plural by have an S, right? You can do that with anything. Pencil. I want more than one pencil. I'm going to have pencils. S. Everybody kind of understands that. Verbs are opposite of it. Okay? So, he. Oh, what am I doing? He. Him. He. Ran. She. Okay, we'll just do he ran because we say we run. Okay, or let's see, another good example. What about she sits? Now look, there is a S at the end there. Well, she is singular. You would think that the S on the end of that would make that plural, but that verb is actually singular. So in this case, or in all cases, verbs that end in S are actual singular. Nouns that end in S are plural. So it's actually opposite. She sits, or it's they sit. That's the plural, because they is multiple people. That's plural. So this is the plural verb tense. So I know that's a little bit confusing, but we'll go over it a little bit more later. But just know that the nouns and the verbs have different endings when it comes to plural and singular. Okay, so what did I say say the antecedent was? What's an antecedent? It's the noun that the pronoun is replacing. So, Addie likes to swim. She enjoys swimming, whatever. So, Addie is the antecedent because I replaced Addie with she. Okay, I don't have time to go over all the cases. That's not something that's super important to you guys at this age. In Challenge A, you will have to start learning what a subjective nominative case, an objective case, and a possessive case. If you are older and want to start looking at that, page 61 in your guide will go a little deeper into cases. So it's breaking down each of the different cases that go along with these pronouns. But we don't necessarily have time to do that today because we get to introduce a new purpose today. Everybody's so excited. No. Woo, a new purpose. So somebody tell me the purpose, one of the purposes we've learned already. Sentence purposes.
Declarative.
We've learned declarative. What does it end with? Good job. What's another one we learned last week? Exclamatory. What does it end with?
I just had an explanation point.
That's right. Thank you for your help. Good job. Okay, so today we are going to be learning imperative. Imperative. Does anybody know what imperative means? What does it do? What does it do?
Ask us a question.
It makes a command. Interrogative asks a question. We haven't got there yet. Those are a little more complicated. Imperative, though, makes and states a command. Okay? So, I'm going to say Rosie, whoever Rosie is. Rosie ran. Okay? So, the way I have it written right now, what kind of purpose is that? Declarative, right? Because it ends in a period, right? We're just saying Rosie ran. That's all we're saying, okay? Now I can change the end mark and I can say Rosie ran, and I've changed the purpose to an exclamatory purpose, right? All right. How do you guys think we're going to change it to imperative?
Rosie ran.
Yeah. What about anybody else have a command?
Clean your room.
Yes. So in this case, it's run. Okay? Well, what am I missing? That doesn't seem like it's a full sentence. What am I missing? Run is a activity, so it's a verb, right? It looks like I'm missing something here.
Why?
Looks like I'm missing a subject, right?
Why?
Yes, so Rosie's our subject, but in this sentence, if you just read run, you wouldn't know who's running, right? You have an implied you is what it's called. You run. An implied you. So an imperative statement, an imperative sentence always has an implied you. Implied means you're just, you know it's there. It's assumed and it's there. Okay, let's do a little more practices here. Let's see. Okay, here's something that's important. I don't want to skip this. To make something imperative, you drop the subject. Okay, we talked about that. You force the writer or the speaker to use second person singular verbs. So that's important when we're using second person singular. What is the second person singular? I've given it to you already, but if you look at second person singular, it is you. If you look at the chart we just went over. Okay, so we have a present tense verb, but no subject. We have an implied subject. So I'm going to write another sentence. Mom hugged, is it two G's? Me. All right. So again, somebody tell me what, I'm not going to do hugs. I'm not going to do, that'd be too hard on hugs. See, here's my other example. Mom is singular, but my verb matches it because it's also a singular verb, but it ends in an S. That's another example of a while ago what I was explaining to you about the verb being ending in S. Okay, so what purpose is this right now, the way it's written? Tell me, Noah. What's the purpose?
Declarative?
Exactly, declarative, right? So we've got declarative here, we've got a subject, we've got a verb, we actually have a direct object, but we'll go over that later. So mom hugs me, okay? Who wants to attempt to make it imperative? How would I take it to imperative? What does it say when we take imperative? We're taking off the subject, okay? And we're changing this to a present tense
Hug.
verb,
Hug.
Take off the S.
okay? What else, how do you want to say it, Addie?
Hug.
Hug, okay? We can say hug, or we can say hug me. Okay? But we have no subject. So what did I say that the imperative has?
An
An
implied you.
implied you. So we're saying you hug, or you hug me. Okay? We're making a command. You hug me. Hug me. All right, let's do another one. Dad laughed. Okay, we've got it declarative. But we want to change it to imperative. Somebody change it to imperative for me.
Laugh.
Good job, laugh. But look, I'm gonna put an exclamation point because you know what? Imperative can be a command. It can have both a period or an exclamation point. Okay? Laugh! You know? So, and I'm saying you laugh is what I'm saying. When I see that imperative, I automatically know there's an implied you. Okay, everybody stand up. We're going to have, I'm sorry, stay seated. I'm sorry, because we're gonna play Bossy Simon Says. So bossy is command, right? Bossy people, they just tell you what to do, right? They don't ask you, they just tell you. So if it is an imperative sentence, you're gonna have to listen, okay? If it has a subject that I tell you, you don't do it, okay? The Simon Says part is if it's imperative. If you only sense that there is an implied you, okay? So if you get out, you're out, okay? Excuse me. All right, let's clap. Anybody gonna clap? No? All right. All right, clap. Stop. Stand. Can you stand on your tiptoes? Did anybody do it? I had a subject there, so that wasn't a command. Laugh. Let's whisper. Let's whisper. Good job. Can you pretend to cry? Good job. Cry. Sit. Good job, everybody. Good job. So you see the difference. If I have a sentence that has a subject and a verb, it's either going to be, it's going to maybe be one of the other purposes. But if it is a command and it has no subject, it has an implied subject, an implied you, then it's an imperative purpose. Everybody kind of get that? Okay, so today, another thing I know that you guys have not just been on the edge of your seat, cannot wait to do, is to diagram.
Oh.
I know y'all have been dying to diagram sentences, right? So up until now, we've just parsed them, meaning we've labeled them as to the different parts of speech. Now we're going to diagram them. So I'm going to first just give you a basic sentence that we'll do, and then I'll show you the implied imperative sentence today. So we're just going to do a declarative. Somebody give me just a simple declarative SVI sentence.
Hi, Tom. Hi, Tom.
Let's do a different one.
Tom runs.
Tom runs, okay. We like this running, don't we?
No.
Tom
Swim.
runs. Okay, everybody get your ATS sheet
Yes.
and write this sentence at the top of it, please. Is everybody doing okay with their ATSs at home? Has everybody done pretty well this week? It's been pretty easy up until now. We're going to get a little harder. So this week we're adding task number 4. If you notice, task number 4 says diagramming confirmation. That's what we're adding to your homework this week. So you're going to do all 4 of the tasks. So
Done.
Tom runs. All right. What is Tom? Let's ask let's first of all identify, is this an independent sentence? Can this stand alone? Is it the independent house by itself? Yes, it's an independent sentence. Independent clause. Who or what is the sentence about? Tom. So we know that that is our subject noun. Okay? Now we go to question confirmation number 3. What is being said about the subject?
Runs.
He runs.
Which
right?
is a verb.
It's our verb. He runs. All right. We now have a period, which tells us we've stopped. So there's no action being transferred from this verb. So we know it's an SVI. Okay. When we're diagramming, you have a horizontal line. That's always the horizontal line. What goes on that horizontal line are, I'm going to make sure I say, subjects, verbs. I'm going to explain all of this as we go along, so don't worry, but I'm just going to give you an overview. Subjects, verbs, nouns, pronouns, and predicate adjectives. All of those are going to go on the horizontal line. Now you get a vertical line that goes right in the middle of your sentence. This separates the subject from the predicate, or the subject from the verb, okay? So our subject goes on the top. When we diagram, we do not use punctuation. You don't use punctuation, but you do use capitalization, okay? So because Tom is our subject, Tom is capitalized, and it goes on the left side of the vertical line as our subject. Tom. Then what's our verb? Runs. So runs is going to be our predicate, our verb, okay? This is how you would diagram this simple SVI sentence. Tom runs, okay? Let's do, okay, let me tell you a few more things about a diagram sentence. This is not stuff we're going to go over for a couple more weeks, but just want to give you an overview. Anything that modifies, like an adjective or an adverb, is going to be written on a diagonal line, okay? Tom runs maybe quickly. That would be our adverb, okay? It's an adverb describing runs. It goes on, it's a modifier. It's going to go as a diagonal line below what it's modifying. We'll go over this again, but anything past this, if we have indirect objects or direct objects, they're going to be run here. Tom runs quickly.
To the store.
Yeah, that's a
I
prepositional.
know.
Store maybe would be off. No, wouldn't be. Okay, so
Home.
we'll go
Can
over
we do
that later.
Tom runs quickly home.
Home. Okay, he runs where? He runs home. Okay, home is the direct object. So our line doesn't go all the way through, it just goes straight to that line. This is again just an overview. We'll go over it. This is not something that you need to know at this point. But we're just explaining to you the basics of the diagramming. And then compound sentences, when we start adding, when we build onto our houses. Remember, we have the compound, 2 houses put together. It's connected by a conjunction. It's with it. We're going to be having a dotted line. It actually goes with the verb, but it will connect 2 verbs. This will be our conjunction, and then we'll go down and we'll have another. Okay. And then if we have a subordinating clause, such as like what we talked about earlier, where it's adverbial, Tom, who, whatever, ran, or Tom, who was an Olympian, runs quickly to the store, or quickly home.
Can't see.
Okay, so none of that you have to know at this point, but they want us to go over the overview of how to diagram. Okay, so now we're going to diagram what you're going to be working on this week, and that's imperative sentences. Okay, so let's erase all of that, and I will go over. All right, so if we did Emily read, okay, she read a book. We would diagram it. This is our, let's go over it again. Is it an independent clause? It stands alone? Yes, it does. Who or what is this sentence about? Emily, she's our subject noun. What is being said about the subject? She reads. She read. Okay, we have no more. We have a stop sign. So we have, it's not transferring any action, so we have SVI. It's, SVI is our structure. It's a declarative. What else do we need to know? Okay, so when we've diagrammed this, you don't have to do this one just yet. I'm just kind of showing you the difference. Emily read, okay? Now, how would we make this sentence imperative, like we've talked about today?
End mark. Change the end mark.
We could change the end mark, yes. What do we need to drop in order to make it imperative? We need to
Emily.
drop, yes. So, imperative sentence would be read. Or we can say read, exclamation, read. All right? Now, what did we say imperative sentences always have? The implied you. All right? So in this case, we're going to still have our horizontal sentence, our line. We're going to have our vertical, separating the subject and the verb. Okay? So if there's an implied you, when we ask these questions, who or what is the sentence about? It's not there. We just have to know that it's there. So our subject noun is an implied you. Subject noun. Read is our verb. There's no other action being transferred, so it's a verb intransitive. So you have your answer here. Our subject, any implied you, goes in parentheses and it's capitalized because it's the beginning of your sentence. So that's how you would diagram an imperative sentence. Okay? So any verb that you have that turns that's an imperative sentence, sit, clap. It's you sit, you clap. You have to just remember that there's an implied you. Remember it's in parentheses. It must be in parentheses, and that's how you diagram that. Any questions at all? Okay, so that's what you're going to be working on this week. For those of you that are first tour, you guys just do the first 3 sentences in your guide, and I'll tell you they are love, dance, investigate. Those are the ones you're working on at home. Second and third tour, or if you want to challenge your first tours, you can move on to sentence 4, sail Columbus, and freely forgive is number 5. So this week on your ATS sheets, you're doing all 4 tasks, okay? So for each sentence, you're going to parse it, you're going to answer the questions, if it's declarative, which structure it is, which purpose it is, which pattern, and then answer the questions, make sure you have all your punctuation correct, your capital letters, all the things you know that's in a sentence, and then practice diagramming, okay? Okay, so that was a lot of information. We went over all of chart F for pronouns, and we went over our new purpose, which is imperative. So far, we have learned quite a bit on this chart. We're still on simple sentences. We have now introduced imperative, and we are now on the part of speech of pronoun. And we're still on SVI sentences, okay? Everybody kind of get a grasp of where we're headed, where we're going. Taking little bite-sized pieces, and we'll add a little bit more to it. Okay. If you need to take a break for a minute, go quickly to the bathroom and come back. If a parent wants to go, maybe stand outside the door for me. Quickly though, take a little breather, get your wiggles out, and then we're going to come back and do math.